Hey everyone. Now, I know I've talked about the whole AI thing and everything and what services I used and how VEO2, that's VEO2, numeral 2, that is VEO numeral 2, uh, is coming from Google. I think it's even out in some parts of the world right now in beta mode, I believe. Well, I talked about this, I didn't talk, but I kind of commented to somebody I follow and I enjoy the work. That's Trouble, and this person is called, and I've mentioned them before. I've actually done reviews of some of the stuff here on my channel, or on my YouTube channel, depending on how you're watching or listening to this. Trouble TRO, and as of late, over the past, I would say half year, if not more so, they've been using AI, whether it's Kling AI, that's KLING AI, or Luma, that's LUMA, or Hailuo, that's spelled HAILUO, or even Pixverse, which is PIXVERSE. Uh, Basically, they've been using, primarily, I think the first, primarily Hailuo, Kling, and I think at times Luma, but mostly like Kling and Hailuo, to basically animate sequences in their webcomics. Whether it's their cat burglar webcomic that they're basically on the verge of closing up real soon. Basically ending this, I guess you could say, this direction it's going in. Or it's their Pink Benefits one, which they're still going strong. In fact, the Pink Benefits one right now has the more adventurous half of the two female shapeshifters of Betty and Emily, this being Emily, enjoying her role as an inanimate object. She's basically the clothing for this one girl that obviously is impressed about, like what this clothing can do. She doesn't even know, honestly, right now, that this clothing, this pair of pants, if you will, that she found, this fabric, whatever it's called, lining, silk lining, or leggings, if you will, that she found, is actually Emily, who initially just wanted to rest there as nothing but leggings, just a pair of fabric leggings on a stool, just wanted to rest there, drift off a little bit and just be the object for a bit. But this girl found her, and Emily is like, "Whoa, this is not what I planned, but hey, this might be a little fun." And long story short, she's kind of helping out this girl, and apparently one of the chapters, I think she's going to allow this girl to change into a different woman, apparently, or something. But there are hints that her and Betty are going to, I guess you could say, coinsect, if you will. They're going to kind of intercept each other unexpectedly. And my assumption is this. I think what's going to happen is Betty is going to sense that the outfit that this girl is wearing, and the reason she's able to change and all that, is it's because of Emily, and she's going to call Emily out. And then that's when Emily will appear, much to the surprise of the girl and everything. But then I guess there will be an understanding. And my assumption is Betty will appreciate that Emily's being having a little fun with her powers, but she'll also have to remind her, hey, that voice that talks to you and kind of talks to me at times, you got to watch it with them. You got to watch it with them, because they might cause you to get into a little bit of trouble, and you don't want that. And so yeah, I think, so I think that's probably what we're going to see eventually with them, as we, get further along in this recent chapter, if you will, of the Pink Benefits. He also has the other one. He has a follow-up the sequel to Science Experiment coming up. I don't know when that's going to happen. He's obviously working on that, but he's also working on testing out animations and all that through AI to see what works, to see like what would be the best option to go with going forward. So he does a lot of good work on it, with the AI. He definitely knows, what scenes he wants to incorporate the AI into, and, see what the end results will be. But Trouble TRO does agree with me. Trouble TRO does agree with me that basically there is room, I should say. R is, whatever, room for improvement. There is. And trouble TRO is basically spelled the way it sounds. The word trouble and then TRO, or as I known on social media, at POVAR22, or on YouTube as POVAR22. I think they even have their own Trouble TRO YouTube channel as well. I have to look it up. But anyway, like I said, I commented to them a couple of days ago, on what they're doing. And this was, what I said to them initially. This is what I said. Actually, I said something to them 4 months ago. 4 months ago, which was, let me see when that was. That was in September 20th of last year. This is what I said to them in September. I said, thanks to you, I've been using Luma, and so far it's been great. But if you want to try a service similar to Luma, but gives you a bit more of what you want, then try Kling AI. It's fun, and for new subscribers, easy on the wallet monthly, and it offers credits unlike Luma, which, by the way, Luma does offer credits now, as I've talked about before. So I suggest to give it a try, and then I asked, what's the progress of Science Experiment 2? Just curious. Take care. God bless. That's what I messaged them in September. Now, of course, they didn't get back to me at that time, but they did get back to me recently when I mentioned this, when I commented to them, when I messaged them this about 2 days ago. I said, you've been doing good so far with the AI, but like me, you've been noticing it doesn't always get what you asked for totally. But hopefully 2025 will see major improvements for all of them, especially with the debut of Google's VEO 2. That's VEO 2 coming. Take care and God bless. So basically I told them, I complimented them. I said, you're doing good so far with the AI, but like me, they've probably been noticing that it doesn't always give you what you ask for. And that hopefully this year we'll see major improvements to all the AI services that people like him and I and others use to try to expand, our imaginations and our creativity, especially with the debut of Google's VEO 2 coming. Now, Trouble TRO did respond to me. They did respond to me by saying, and this is Trouble TRO, again, which is spelled Trouble and then TRO, all one word. This is what they responded to me, and I quote, thanks, I'm with you on that. Really hoping open source models continue to evolve and push the boundaries. Let's see what 2025 brings. Take care and all the best. So basically right there with somebody that initially, and I got to give them credit here, initially got me into it when they started doing the animation and explaining what they were using to do that AI-wise. For them to agree with me on the fact that, they too have been noticing that, when you prompt something in there, even with an image, accompany it, it doesn't always give you what you ask for. It's basically like, it gives you what you want. It kind of gives you what you want, but then it kind of like goes off and does its own thing. For example, I noticed in some of the images that he used the AI to bring to life, there's this one scene where he has, in the recent cat burglar chapter he put up, or part he put up, there's one scene where he has the main character in a burglar disguise, a cat burglar-like disguise, trying to get away, and she's running down this hall, but when he's animating it and she's running down, you see like little lights in the foreground. You're like, okay, is that what's in the next scene? But then you see the next scene, which is just a regular page, not animated or anything, just a regular like webcomic page, and you don't see any lights or anything in the foreground. You see like a regular hallway. So that to me is exactly what, he's agreeing with me on, excuse me there, he's agreeing with me on when it comes to these services. That yes, they have room for improvement, but, that improvement has to, come along the lines of understanding that when you're animating a scene off an image, it doesn't mean, add, whatever you want to it. Don't add like red lights or something in the foreground. Instead, keep it as, the person that's prompting you what the description intends you to, keep it as. And eventually that's going to help out. And eventually, that'll make, that'll help, the consumer want to utilize your service even more, especially with the updates. But yeah, I'm not the only one, as I mentioned, that uses this stuff, to kind of, let loose in the imagination, creativity, take certain, wordings and paragraphs from like stories to see what they would look like if they were brought to life and stuff. I'm not the only one that does that. Trouble TRO, Jovan16, which is spelled Jovian 16, Jovian 16, Jovan16, and Nexy Comics, that's spelled Nexy Comics, or Nextstat Comics, if you will. Nextstar, I think Nextstar, Nextstat. Gotta check here. Hold on for a second. I'll probably try to go there. Maybe not. Well, maybe I can. Hold on. But anyway, though, like I said, these are the kind of people that use this stuff to try to see what their pages would look like, or the wording would look like brought to life. And if it kind of matches what they're asking for, that's good. If not, it kind of shows that some of these services really need to step up the game. Like I've said before, Luma was the first one I used, but obviously it's kind of falling off a little bit. Like, it's getting better. It's got this Ray, as I've mentioned before, it's got this Ray 2 to it. It's only meant for text, because when you're using image, it goes back to 1.6. And that's okay and everything, but it doesn't always give you what you want when you're extending the picture and everything, whether or not you have an additional frame to go with the extension. And that's one advantage I will say Luma has. Luma allows you to extend with an additional frame. The others, as far as I know, don't allow that to happen. But, eventually Luma has got to basically add in the Ray 2, not just for the text, which is, for only right now, but eventually for the images as well, because once that gets inserted, I think you're going to see some big progress down the line, prompt-wise and result-wise, from the prompts that you put in, I should say. And let me get some Coca-Cola for a second, guys. But yeah, basically, I think once they put that Ray 2 in there, for the images and not just the text, which is which is only a part of right now, you're going to really see some some improvements with the results you might get. Maybe not total improvement, but decent improvement. And then speaking of improvements, as I've said before, the other ones I've been using have been showing some signs of improvement as well, like Pixverse, which is Pixverse. Pixverse now has transition, which is basically the way of saying, hey, now you can add into the frame, which I like. The other thing they have as well is you can also, I don't know if they've always had this, but now you have, along with normal, which is like normal, standard results and everything. Now you have performance, which I guess is their way of, their way of calling it professional, like Kling does. And this, this kind of, this does cost you kind of a little bit more than the normal mode would, because normal, if you go 5 seconds on normal, it's only 30 credits. 8 seconds is 60. With performance, you go 60 credits for 5 seconds, and I'm assuming maybe 90 or 120, mostly 90, I think, 90 for 8 seconds on performance. But you basically get different results at times, and Pixverse is getting there, not totally yet, but they are getting there. But I do like the fact that they allow you to add a video from maybe another site, another service, to see what the end result would be if that service only allows you to do it one time. And sometimes doing it one time does result in you having to be like, okay, I got what I wanted here, but not totally. I'm going to download it, take it over to here, see what I get as an end result. And sometimes when you mix and match, you basically kind of get a decent image or a decent result, if you will. But yeah, they've added in transition, so you can add two different. You can add 2 different frames or 2 different pictures, if you will. The extension now is only meant for for video. So once you put the video in there, whether it's from Pixverse or it's from someplace else, you can basically use extend to add to what you want to see in that picture. Like, what else do you want to see? Just in case, like I said, the other service doesn't give you what you want. So I do like that. I do like that idea that they are categorizing the areas in the little prompt area, in the little, I guess you could say, experimental area for you to work with. You got the image/text to video. You got transition, which allows you, like I said, to add 2 frames. And then you got extension, which allows you to take a video, download it either from Pixverse or someplace else, and add it, and add it to the bar, to the prompt bar, and then type in what the prompt is you want to have to go along with it to kind of continue it in the way you want. So I do like that, but like I've said before, they do have a lot more to learn, but they are up there. And I've ranked them. I said it's like Kling, it's Hailuo, and it's Pixverse and Luma right at the 3rd bottom, and then you got all the rest. But speaking of Kling, one thing I was hoping Kling would do, they finally did do, but there is a catch. Now, with Kling, they did add, I'm going to bring it up so I could see it. They did add for image to video, mostly image to video, they added in elements and effects. So with elements, it says upload 1 to 4 images, select the subjects, people, animals, objects, or scenes in the images as elements, and describe their actions the actions and interactions. That's basically what it is. And then effect-wise, you can add effects and everything as well. And then frames, you could do that too. Now frames you could do with 1.0. You could do it with 1.0, which is the first one. You could do it with 1.5, and then 1.6 you could do it as well, but there's a catch when it comes to 1.6. 1.6 only will let you do it in professional mode. I think 1.5 does the same thing. Let me double check. So yeah, basically professional mode only lets you do the the frames, the keyframes, the transitions, if you will. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied there. Now 1.5. Now let's see. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Basically what it is professional mode only. Professional mode only in Kling 1.6 allows you to do the start and end frames, basically the keyframes, transitions. 1.5 allows you to do it as well in the same way. So 1.5, Kling 1.5 and Kling 1.6 are the only, in professional mode, are the only ways you could do, basically the frames and all that. Now, I don't know if you could do extension on 1.5, because anytime Kling adds something to one of their updates or one of the latest updates, they will add something to a previous update to make it just as good, if not, more usable. So, for example, I have something up here right now. I'm not going to show it for any reason, basically because I don't want to get my YouTube channel, destroyed. But anyway, here, there's a scene I have. It's 2 different frames. And I'm going to go 35. I do have to add a little bit more time. I got a little money to do that, but just add a little bit more time. So we're going to go 35. And we're going to see exactly what happens. It's got 10 minutes to go. But whatever the result will be actually interesting. And now, that's the other thing, too, about these services, mostly Kling. Kling will basically take its time depending on what update you use. 1.6 will give you like 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 9, depending on what you want. 1.5 goes a little longer because I think they want to make sure, like, okay, this is what they want. Let's see if we can get it right. Excuse me. But anyway, though, Kling 1.6 did add in the end frames, but just like with 1.5, excuse me, again, just like with 1.5, it will only allow you to do it with the professional mode. 1.0 lets you do it on both. 1.0 allows you to do it in standard and in professional. But 1.5 and 1.6 only allow you to do it with professional. Now, hopefully they'll change that and both will do standard as well. And hopefully 1.6 will allow you to have extensions as well. I think 1.5 might be doing that soon. I'm not really sure. We'll find out in a little bit. Probably be done after I do this audio video. But yeah, you know, it's interesting to see, you know, how much they are improving and all that. But the other thing I think that's going to be happening this year with the eventual arrival, because it's in some regions of around the world right now, mostly in beta mode, I believe. But eventually, with the inevitable arrival of VEO2, that's VEO2 from Google, with that inevitable arrival of it, you know, I think what's going to happen eventually is you're going to see a lot of these AIs from Kling, Luma, Pixverse, PicaArts, you know, Hailuo, Viddu, if you will, Runaway, and Sora. You're going to see them all start picking up the game if what is being advertised and hyped up for Google's VEO2 is true. You know, they're going to see them starting to pick it up and all that, you know, in the near future. You know, probably within this year. But again, that's all depending on when Google's VEO2 comes out. It all depends on when it comes out. And when it does, again, I've got a feeling people behind these services, I should say, are going to be picking up the slack. And they're going to be updating all the services like crazy, like you would not believe, in my opinion. Now, here's the thing. The Kling AI, Luma AI, and all of them, they're not the only ones that need improvement. So does Sudo Write, S-U-D-O Write, W-R-I-T-E. S-U-D-O-W-R-I-T-E. You know, they need improvement as well, because apparently, you know, there are times when you create a story on there, depending on what your flavor of kind of flavor of story that you like to create. When you create a story on there, sometimes if you're going the guided route, after, let's say, you choose I guess you could say a genre that you want to use, if you will. And let me bring that up for a second too while I'm recording this. But let's say you want to bring up a certain genre like fantastical, ominous, romantic, you know, whatever, right? And let me see if it comes up. Okay. So brought it up here. But let's say you're using something like, let's say for a tone shift, you're using things like ominous, fantastical, fast-paced, upbeat, authoritative, if you will, conflicted, romance, sensual. You know, let's say you're using that, and then you decide you want to go to guide, right? Well, lately, Sudo Write, despite some of the new improvements, new additions, have been basically, I guess you could say, lacking on keeping updated with, you know, the prompts, you know, being there when you need it. Kind of being like, okay, you want to go in this direction, no problem, we'll do something for that. Instead, there are times I will go to guided even after I've chose the tone and everything, or I'll just use guided right off the bat after doing the first draft. And instead, it'll give me on, you know, on the right side where you would get all the results, like your choice of, okay, which part do you want to go with to continue the story. Instead, I will sometimes get like a blank canvas. Like, okay, what's going on here? Why is it all blank? Or I'll get something that, you know, is more related to something that's not of my creation. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? And I still stick by the fact that I think what's going on is, and this even happens when I come up with a story. When I do a first draft for a story, whether it's do guided or I choose the tone, what happens is that basically I'll get something completely different. Like, what's this? Like, either I'll get information of this is this author, you know, or here's information of data unknown, data Viddu, and it's like, what is this? And that, to me, does relate to one thing one of the people that runs Viddu Right said, that there are glitches. There are some glitches involved. But if there are glitches, shouldn't you have those glitches fixed by now? You're putting in all these different updates. Shouldn't you have them fixed by now? Apparently, that's not the case. I mean, look, I get they're trying their best, but, you know, how do glitches cause you to get something that's not completely of what you wanted? Like, sometimes I'll get, like, you know, information kind of like when you would look on Google. You look on Google and you'll be like, okay, give me information for da-da-da, right? Sometimes I'll end up getting that kind of information. I'm like, what is this, right? And it's not what I intended. Or I want something for the story I want to create, and instead I'll get something completely different, you know, story-wise. It's like I'm getting somebody else's work, and that's not supposed to happen. So hopefully, to do right, the people behind it will work on that. They will work on that, because you are charging people monthly, subscription-wise, to basically use your service, and then when they can't pay, you don't let them use your service, even though they have extra credits left. To me, as a way to repay those people, especially if they can't use your service because financially they can't pay for it at that time, you should at least let them have the credits. Let them keep the credits. Let them keep working on their stuff until they run out of credits. Don't hold anything off or anything away from them. Don't hold anything away from them that they might want to use. To me, take a page out them and Luma, in my opinion, should take a page out of Kling, Pixverse, Hailuo, I think Runaway as well. You know, Pixverse, Kling, Hailuo, Runaway. You know, take a page out of the playbook and let people use the credits they still have, even though they can't pay monthly. That way, you're letting them know, hey, we get the fact that you're having issues, you're having problems. So here, we're gonna let you keep going, do your work. Well, you know, even though you can't pay, you know, monthly for it, or subscription-wise monthly, we're still gonna let you do your work. And while you do your work, we'll also try to work on these bugs. That's what they need to do, in my opinion. That's what they need to do. And I guarantee you, people like Trouble TRO, Nexy Comics, Joven16, and others would agree with me that, you know, these AI services, whether they're video, image, or writing, you know, I think they would agree with me when I say that they need to really get up their game in 2025 if they don't want something like VEO2 from Google to basically outlast them and basically, you know, leave them in the dust and all that with everything they're being hyped up on having. But again, that's just my opinion on it. But I will say some are showing improvement, like Kling showing improvement, you know, with you know, adding the keyframes, the transitions, the end frames now. The only catch being, along with 1.5, the 1.5 update that the 1.6 also has, is you can only use it in professional mode, which is 35 credits to 70 credits, depending on your choice. But I'll give them credit; they are upping the game there. I'll give, you know, Pixverse credit for adding in the transition, so you can have 2 frames there, and then making the extension portion of it where you want to extend the video, maybe when you bring over. I like the fact that they've given it its own section as well. So there are places of improvement. Hailuo is going to have to make some improvements too. They're going to have to go the transitional route as well eventually, the keyframes and front and end frame route as well eventually. So that way, you know, if they want to stay like close to the top to Kling and, you know, hopefully be at that top when VEO2 comes in, you know, having the end frames and having extensions, I think will help out in the long run. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about AI? I mean, I know I talked about this already, and you might comment that to me, but what do you think of overall about all these AI situations? And do you think, honestly, 2025 needs to be the year they, you know, up their game, especially with the arrival of VEO2 in the future? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video, ring the bell for notification, subscribe to the channel. Also, click on the links in the description. to find me at all your favorite audio podcast affiliates, from iHeart to iTunes, Pandora, Audible, Spotify, Radio Public, Overcast, you name it. If it has a podcast, if it has a, I guess you could say, a legion of podcasts as a part of it, you'll probably find me there as well. Also, check me out at Venmo and Cash App to help donate there if you want to, and Patreon.com. Also, check me out at VEMO at BW Roses, Odyssey.com at BW Roses, Rumble.com at BW Roses. Also, check me out at the Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. And also, check me out at Twitter at BW Roses and Blue Sky at BW Roses. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are overall. Love to hear how you feel about some of the things I said here. And until next time, I am out.